Hey, what's going on guys? It's Divine and today I have a whole new video for New World. Now this is going to be a multi-part series where we're going to be taking a look at all the beginner basics. Basically what I found out was that the tutorial really doesn't teach you a whole lot, and during the alpha and beta there was a lot of issues where people were constantly spamming the chat wondering how to do simple things, and that's what kind of inspired me to do a video series like this. So you know what? We're going to do this. It'll be about 4 parts, so this will be part 1. And I briefly want to mention that before we get into everything, that New World actually did come out with a post stating that they are not going to be doing any kind of features or content between now and launch. They are only going to be looking at the bugs and server stability and any kind of critical issues. So that should make everything in this video relevant at launch. Now, after the game does fully launch, that is all subject to change, but I don't see things changing too drastically. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be taking a look at now is the HUD of the game. So I kind of want to just explain where everything is. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably going to know all this stuff pretty easily, but I just wanted to run through this real quick so we just kind of are a little bit more thorough. So first of all, you can take a look at the top, and up here is going to be your compass. Now, there is no mini-map in this game. This is your little mini-map. So it'll tell you what direction you're headed. Any kind of quests that you have off to the right, they'll have a number, and it'll actually track on top there so you know kind of which general direction you need to go. And another thing to note is when you start to level up your gathering levels, whether it's in mining, tracking, and skinning, these are the two big ones that I've noticed, also harvesting, you do gain the ability to track certain items. Now, it depends on your level, what you're able to track, but at the top you can kind of see that I can see around me different types of animals, which is very, very beneficial if you're looking for a certain type of something. One thing to note though is the distance does vary by what kind of skill you've leveled up. I know ore is typically a lot closer than some of these animals, so just keep that in the back of your mind as well. Alright, so moving on kind of quickly here, below our character we have a bar, and that's going to be your health bar. Above that bar is going to be where your buff and debuffs are going to appear. And then the bottom right is where your weapon is going to be, and just to the left of that is going to be what abilities you have selected for that weapon. Now, above that weapon is going to be where you can put your consumables, so that is your potions and food. Now, that can be adjusted in the inventory section. And moving further left is going to be where your inventory icon is. Now, you can see that you can quick access it with tab, and then you will notice a ring around it with a number above. Now, that is the amount of weight that you have on your person, and be mindful about this. Now, if you have too much weight, you can't fast travel, so be aware of that, and then you will also not be able to run around. Basically, you do a slow walk, so always be mindful of that. Now, you can get that number to increase later on when you start getting satchels on your person, which allows you to hold more in your inventory, so kind of be aware of that. And the last two things, at the very bottom you're going to have your experience bar, which at the bottom left corner is going to be your level, and then just above where your level is, you're going to see my chat window. Alright, so one of the big complaints with the beta was that the game in the chat would just blow up, and people really did not like this. So if you open up Escape, you will actually see your chat history here. And then if you mouse over to the left side, you can actually select a different channel if you really want to see history really quickly of just a specific channel, or you can go up here and hit channel settings. Now, this is where you're actually going to go and change your alerts, feed, and muted. So if you don't want to watch a channel at all, during the beta, help and recruitment, and sometimes the factions would just be so much that it would just initiate a mute on them. But this is only one set of settings. Now, if you come over here, this is where you're actually going to have your settings for text size, your fade delays, your background. So you can kind of see my background's a little transparent. If you want it a little bit darker to easier to read, that's where you would do that. Now, you'll notice during my gameplay before, the message fade delay is set to 0. So anytime a message comes in, mine would actually start to fade out because I didn't want to be bombarded with so many messages. But that's how you change your chat settings. So just a few things in the inventory screen here. This is the screen that you hit tab to open up, and then in the top left, just below that is going to be your ammo count. Now, you can only have 500 of each type of ammo equipped at at any given time. You can have more in your inventory, but you will have to drag over to basically add to that stack at a later time. And then another thing to note is in the bottom left of your actual inventory part, right to the left of where your gold count is, you'll see give coin. Now that actually gives you the ability to give coins to any player in your server, basically anywhere. So you can actually just send money to someone and you don't have to be right next to them. And the last thing I want to mention in the inventory is how to salvage an item. Now this is going to be done by pressing the S key and holding it down while you left click, and it will give you a confirmation of the item and kind of give you an idea of what you might get from that item. And then you can either press E to confirm or just click the button. Now please note that you can salvage fish, and this is how you get fish fillets as well. Alright, so continuing to move on, this is probably the biggest question that I saw in the beta was how to self-cast. So if you hit a spell, you will actually see a small menu come up. And now you saw how fast that menu went away, and that was kind of, I think, the problem with this is nobody realized that you have to hold left control as you hit the ability to self-cast it on yourself. But that's an easy way to do it. Alright, so moving on to the most popular question, I think, other than self-casting, is how to start in the same area as your friends. Now, there is two ways that I've heard about doing this. The first way I do know does work. The second way I have heard mixed things on, so take that part with a grain of salt. So the first one is you're going to go onto your starting beach, and then your first quest is actually to talk to the watchtower captain. Now you're going to go and turn in this quest. He's going to instantly try to give you a second quest, and from here you're going to actually hit leave. Now after you hit leave, you have the ability to go to any of the 4 starting zones, which are Windsward Village, First Light, Monarch's Bluff, or Everfall. And then you would just have to run all the way over and not die. So this can be a little bit difficult, especially if your friends are across the map. But the second way that I've heard how to do this, and I just want to state again that I have personally not tested this method out, but I've heard from multiple others that this does work. So the first thing you're going to do is have one of your people in your group basically beat the tutorial. Then, once they're on the beach, they're going to press the letter O to bring up the social menu. From here, you're going to add all of your friends, and once added, you're going to invite these users to a group. Now, these users will not be able to accept the group invite, but what it does on the back end is tell the server that you want to play with these people. And then once they complete the tutorial, they should start on the same beach as you. So I hope one of these two methods works out beneficial for you guys. As for the first method, I think almost re-rolling the tutorial to try again is almost easier than having to walk the half hour to an hour across the map to go to your friends' starting locations. Alright, so for the next part that I want to talk about is actually fast traveling. Now this is where people kind of get confused, I would say. But what we'll do is bring up our map here, and you'll notice that you can see a couple double arrow icons on the map. Those are actual fast travel points, but if we zoom in here, we can actually click on a town. Now we see that we have 3 different abilities to fast travel to this town. The first one is going to be the inn. So whatever town you go to, you can actually claim a inn, and that allows you to fast travel to that town from anywhere on the map once every 30 minutes. The next one would be recall to house. Now, when you first buy your house, you actually will see a different time for this one. So the house that I purchased actually had a 3-hour cooldown. This works the same way as an inn, where you can be kind of anywhere and you can fast travel back to your house. Now, lastly is the fast travel. Now, that one actually costs Azoth, and that's going to depend on how much weight and how far you're actually going. So you can actually travel from town to town, or those double arrow icons on the map are just different points that you can fast travel to. I think they're called shrines or something like that. Alright, and the last way of kind of traveling pretty quickly, and I wouldn't really consider this fast traveling because it does come with a cost, but that's to utilize your campsite. So up on the screen you can see the 3 different levels of campsites here. You are going to learn these are pretty early on, and then throughout your levels you can slowly upgrade this campsite. But what these do is actually allow you a respawn location when you die. So people would actually set these up in between major cities. So when they would die, you can either choose to respawn at the campsite or a town that's kind of nearby. But if you have your campsite near like multiple different towns, you would actually get the multiple different towns to choose from. Another way people would do this, there was a respawn button in the beta. I feel like this is going to be taken out, and that was more for debugging purposes, but if it is in there, you can choose to hit respawn, and this will give you basically the same options as if you were to have just died. So I still believe this button will get removed, but we'll have to see. Alright, so for the last section of this video, what I wanted to talk about is leveling. So, a couple things to note with your character leveling. Now, you will get attributes every time you level, but between 2 and 13, you'll get 2 attributes per level. Between 14 and 40, you'll get 3 attributes. Between 41 and 55, you'll actually gain 4, and between 56 and 60, you'll gain 5 attributes. Now, and this can all be seen off of this database that I am currently showing, but please note that off to the right, you'll see attribute respec cost. Now, this starts at level 20, costs 20 gold initially, and goes up by 12 gold each time you level. So kind of beware about this. It can get kind of costly. You can see at the end, it'll cost you 500 gold in game. So just prepare for that. Alright, so moving on to the last section of this video, and we are going to be talking about the territory standing levels. Now, these are the levels that you're going to get for each individual area, and as you can see from the database, you are going to get a wide range of different, basically, perks per level. You can see things from like XP gain to trading tax to expanding your storage, but one thing to note is throughout this list, there's only XP gains 4 different times, so you can only get, I'm not sure the exact amount of total XP bonus, but this does apply to everything and anything you do, so I would recommend getting this one first, and just note that these goes all the way up to level 300, so I'll kind of speed it up here just a little bit so you can kind of see all the different things that you can get. There is a wide range of upgrades that you can get and unlocked titles as well. So that's all I have for you guys for this video. And like I said earlier, this is only one part of this video series. Now, this video series is probably going to be like 4 parts, I think, all in all. Next week, we're going to be going over different things about the town, the skills, weapons, and armor. So all sorts of goodness about that stuff. So be on the lookout for that video.